cold Japanese prison yard in 1879, a kneeling woman, wrists tied behind her, pale but serene face. Onlookers standing in complete silence as the sword comes up in the executioner's hand, a weight attached to it, all anticipation, terror, and perhaps an air of eternity. And then, in a quick motion, her head is severed from her body. Blood is shed on the ground below her as gasps echo around the crowd. This was the demise of Takahashi Oden, the final public woman to be executed by beheading in Japan. But who was she? Cold-blooded killer, a circumstance casualty. And why was she the last woman murdered in this brutal manner? In order to realize her destiny, we have to turn back in time when Japan was poised at the crossroads of old and new, a moment when the age-old traditions were rotting but not yet passed away. To understand Oden's life and death, we must step into Meiji Japan, a time of utter change. Japan was under the shogunate rule of the Tokugawas for centuries, a strict feudal era dominated by the samurai aristocracy. By the 1800s, however, the arrival of foreign ships on the shores of Japan was a starting point for demanding trade and alterity. The country could not be isolated any longer. By 1868, the shogunate was crumbling and the restoration underway. The emperor was once more restored to unlimited power, and Japan began an enormous project of modernization, Western legal codes, remodeling the army, industrialization. The privilege of samurai was taken away. Hanging publicly and other customs were in decline, but not all at once. Amidst these volatile years, citizens struggled with old law and new principles, including Takahashi Oden. Oden was born in 1848, the final years of the Edo period. She was different from most women of her era. She was no obedient daughter or submissive housewife. She was a witty, intelligent woman, and she was stunningly beautiful. She was referred to as a mastermind criminal, a cunning woman who used men for money. Other people thought she was a tragic figure, someone who was driven to desperation for survival. She had not led a normal life. She married young in life, but her marriage was not a successful one. She divorced her husband, unusual and uncool for a woman in those days. She fell into one of dishonesty and wickedness. Oden was charged with thievery, deception, and even murder. She was reported to use her beauty and intelligence to defraud men out of their wealth. In some versions of the legend, others claim that she was just a woman doing the best she could in circumstances that did not leave women with a very broad set of options. Her worst crime, however, her capital crime, was murdering a merchant called Hikozo. Just how Oden became involved in the murder of Hikozo is uncertain. She had commanded it to be done by her lover, so some claim, originally a bandit and later converted to becoming a samurai. Some claim she was actually there at the time of the murder and an accomplice, but not the murderer. Either way, she was arrested in 1876 and taken to court. The Meiji government was attempting to put punishment behind them on the basis of the old religion, but their system of justice was still not altered enough. While some criminals began to be punished with jail time or banishment from the area, Oden had a special situation. She was given the death penalty by beheading. This was a surprise, not just because she was female, but because beheading was falling out of favor. Japan now practiced Western-style execution, such as hanging, but for whatever reasons are the subject of great debate among historians, Oden's death sentence remained unchanged. She was reported to have been made an example, a lesson to the oppositionists of the new law. Her case has been thought by some to just fall between the two stools of the old and the new legal order. Whatever the motive, she was doomed. Takahashi Oden was taken on 31st January 1879 to the location where she would be executed. She was the last of the Japanese women to be executed with the sword. Public executions had been the standard in the Edo period, and the spectacle had typically been one witnessed by the general public. By 1879, though, such spectacles were on the decline. Oden's hanging was one of the last gasps of a dying tradition. Did she cringe with fear as she knelt to receive the sword? Did she repent? Or did she die as she had lived, bravely? It was cut off in one swing, and in a moment, an era had elapsed. Takahashi Oden was not merely the last beheaded woman of Japan, she was a relic of a shifting world. Her execution marked the demise of the ancient legal system. Japan quickly followed her death with the abolition of beheadings and the institution of more modern punishment methods. Was she evil, or was she a product of the era that she lived during? If society had granted her only a few more minutes, would the course of her life have been different? How does society decide who will be given mercy and who will not? These are the questions history forces us to pose. Even now, the Takahashi Oden case is interesting. Was she an evil criminal, or was she a victim of being a scapegoat for a rising society? Her life reminds us that history is not so much black and white. It's all gray, contradictions, and lost perspectives. History is not memorizing dates and facts. It's understanding how societies change, how justice changes, and how people construct their lives using the world they live in. Oden's life has taught us that justice never stays the same. What was right in one time could be wrong today. It makes us question, how will generations in the future perceive the legal system of today in 100 years' time? What will be considered barbaric to them? Her story is not only that of the past, it's one of the extrapolation of the redefinition of society, law, and morality. So what do you guys think? Was Takahashi Oden an environmental product or a criminal mastermind? Let us know in the comments below. If you like untold history, dark true stories, and deep dives into the past, be sure to like this video, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you'll never miss an episode. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.